I believe all of us picked the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. I know Isaac picked the Chiefs.
No,
Yes,
Royal
sir.
Flush.
Royal Flush. There you go. Name of the podcast. Thank you. Of this episode, Royal Flush. Yeah, so we all picked the Chiefs. And my biggest thing that I felt was the reason, one of the reasons I picked the Chiefs was, like I said, I did not foresee this defense beating Josh Allen at Josh Allen's house and then overcoming a historic defense and beating the Baltimore Ravens to beat those two guys or to beat those two defenses and their quarterbacks, and then you fall to Brock Purdy. I could not foresee that for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And that's partially why I picked them, on top of the fact that I felt as if though Kyle Shanahan was going to come into this game being extremely conservative. And when I say conservative, I talked about, handing it off to Christian McCaffrey in abundance of times. Collectively, Christian McCaffrey had 30 touches. He had 30 touches, 20 plus carries, and like maybe 8 receptions or something like that. I'll get the stats
For a
here.
touchdown.
Once for a touchdown, right? Off the trick play from Jennings. So Kyle Shanahan definitely, you know what I'm saying, stuck to his guns and stuck to his prize fighter, and McCaffrey trying to make sure he got him the ball as much as he could. But obviously early on in that first quarter, McCaffrey fumbled. And I talked about Debo. Debo only had 6 touches, 6 rushes, 6 runs. I'm sorry, 3 rushes and 3 catches. Obviously ended up getting injured throughout the course of the game. And Brock Purdy did not play bad in no way, shape, or form. However, horseshoes and hand grenades is the only time almost counts. And therefore, almost playing great doesn't get you the absolute win in this situation of the Super Bowl. And so we're gonna take our time here with unpacking the Super Bowl here. So we don't have to like necessarily rush or be all over the place. But that's what I saw in terms of how the Chiefs were able to come out and win this game. And obviously Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, of course. But let's start here in terms of our unpacking. Just, give me y'all point of view of how y'all feel like the game, played out that led to the Chiefs win and or the 49ers losing.
I mean,
honestly,
oh,
go ahead, brother.
I kind of feel like it was a very evened out game first half. I feel like the 49ers beat the Chiefs to the trick play, because I feel like every Super Bowl has got at least be one trick play. It's 2 elite teams, 2 elite offenses, defenses, and it'll kind of be at a stalemate to a certain point. So I think before that it was going to pretty much be a tie game, which it kind of was. It was 3-3 until the trick play. Kind of felt like Edward hit a very good point last week, and also he reminded us that they play very conservative, man. They play very just let's play safe. Let's give it to our obvious guys. It's like, no, man, this is a Super Bowl. This is where your role players kick in. Obviously, Jennings, he showed a part of that, but I kind of feel like that should have been a little more initiated at the beginning rather than the obvious. Everybody knows Christian McCaffrey is a one-on-one type running back, and I feel like kind of overuse him with so many touches in the first quarter. Obviously resulted in him in having a fumble. I feel like that was just too safe. It's like you're going against the Chiefs. You know what they're capable of. This is not time to be safe. Like, if you know how good they are, it's different. You can, if you don't know how they are, I feel like it's kind of different. You could be a little more conservative because you don't know what to expect. So you're playing it safe. But these guys are winners. They've been there. They lost before in the big stage. So they won, lost, and won again at one point. So it's just like you got to look at the Chiefs to where it's just like, bro, We can't just do no light stuff. We can't play it's like a regular season game. We got to go balls out. We got to honestly. They had to have. They should have took what Dan Campbell did in that last game and apply it to them, because I feel like Dan Campbell gave the 49ers too much credit. They like to not brag about, they like to say like how he wanted to flex his, flex how strong he was about going for it on fourth down, Mr. Dan Campbell. But that was more of him kind of not trusting his defense. Get the field goal, it means you trust your defense to be able to like hold them off. Go for that touchdown, I can't risk it. So I feel like in this case, I feel like Kyle Shanahan should have took a page out of his book in this case. This is the perfect scenario. It's like, no, they're definitely gonna win. Brock Purdy being Brock Purdy, I would not trust that offense to go against the Lions. But you're going against Patrick Mahomes, it's a world of a difference. It's like, no, he's gonna go march back down. So I said all that to say, in those closing plays and in the overtime and no, not even just in overtime, because in regulation they did pretty well. But in overtime, when they went for that field goal for the first go, I feel like they shouldn't have done that. I feel like they should have went all out and went for it. Why would you say that? Because you have Patrick Mahomes on the other side who can do whatever he wants with the ball. He can march whenever he wants, and he can get a first down wherever he wants. He can definitely get him into field goal range. That's without question. So I feel like them kicking that field goal in overtime was the stupidest thing they could have done. I don't even think they would have got it ridiculed as much as they would have, as much as people would have thought. Like, oh man, why would they would have done that? Because they know Patrick Mahomes is that guy who can march down the field whenever he wants and how he wants. So play it safe. I mean, not play it safe. Play it risky. Get your first down, which your team has been doing really well. One of your main role players, Jennings, has been playing his soul off. Like, you're in the perfect position to go for it. So, like I said, when I felt like they took that field goal, that wasn't smart. I feel like that was way too conservative. That played right into what Edwards said about how the 49ers are gonna play, and that's how they ended up in the situation they were in. You let Patrick Mahomes, you didn't let him do it. Obviously, he earned it, but Patrick Mahomes marched down there and did what he wanted to do. There was no field goal in his mind. He felt like, I want to get a touchdown, I'm going to get a touchdown. So, yeah.
So first, I say that was like one of the best Super Bowls within the last 10 years. Right? It was electrifying. It was exciting. It was a good little chess match that you wanted to see. I felt like Kansas City would always do what they always do. Start out slow, you know what I'm saying, getting their legs under them, trying to figure out what the defense and the offense are trying to do. And in the second half, Andy Reid is still Andy Reid at the end of the day. That's just how I felt about it. I love Kyle Shanahan, but we can't act like Andy Reid ain't went up against the best of the best. You know what I mean? He lost the Super Bowl to Bill Belichick. You know what I mean? So that, right, just the coaching, and then you got Spags over there, and them boys was tired and still balling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said that. I said it was going to be that defense, and it was because but they didn't break. And where I really knew the game was over was when the 49ers could have went up 16-17, and they missed their extra point and kept it 16-16. And I'm like, oh, that's not good, right? Which, at the end of it all, that Mahomes magic, you just can't stop it, man. And it's really not on no. At this point, man, it's really not preposterous for us to feel how we feel about this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's just that good. You know what I'm saying? And I just knew it was gonna happen. I wasn't worried about the 49ers going down and doing whatever they did in OT, because I knew once Patrick had the ball, it was over with. They knew it. It was like a minute 53 left, and he scored with 3 seconds left.
With that being said, do you take that field goal in that first possession against Patrick Mahomes? Or do you honestly risk it all? Like, do you risk it all?
Well,
you talking
honestly,
about
what can you do?
Darnell? Forgive me, Dacius. with your question just now, Darnell, you talking about in overtime?
Yes, yes, sir. In overtime, do you take that field goal opportunity, knowing how the rules work, knowing that if Patrick Mahomes gets a touchdown, game over. But if you score a touchdown, you still can keep playing. You can keep playing. You keep going. No big deal.
I
But
think
the
the this was case in point, him playing conservative and not playing to win, but just trying to say, I'm gonna do this. He instead of him trying to go out to win the game, he was hoping eventually the Chiefs would make a mistake or his defense would like make a play. But it's just like
Right.
2 mistakes already. Almost 3. Pacheco with the fumble, Patrick Mahomes interception. How many mistakes do you think they're gonna freaking make? Think of like realistically think about it. 3-time appearing AFC champions, 2-time world champions. How many times are they gonna really mess up?
they kept giving them the nails to put in their coffin.
Like that's what I didn't
Right.
understand.
It's really like they gave them time to come alive.
Like it, that's
Without
what I did.
killing them.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say without killing them off, you give them time to come alive. Really, when they kicked that field goal before the end of the first half, I'm like, oh yeah, like y'all sticking around too close to this team. Everybody knows, like 49ers, don't think that y'all up 10 or was it up 7 going into the half that like don't feel good about this, right? Because we've seen this from this team, you know. I know it's a sore spot for y'all, but I guess it's good to see the 49ers play around and don't think it could just happen to the Texans. It could happen to anybody, bro. Like, we don't care.
And guess
They
what?
don't care.
Almost every single flip of the switch is on special teams. You have the Texans with the fake punt, which they made happen on special teams defense. You have the Kadarius Toney return in the Super Bowl last year for the touchdown to kind of think either ice the game or tie it up. And then you have that punt that got dealt on that player's foot that got recovered by the Chief. That's crazy, ain't it? Special teams.
He got a block field goal too. So yeah.
And the block field goal. Like all of their, like that is literally to me, that screams out, this is a whole scary team you have to worry about. Like, other than the Texans this year, this was the one team you have to worry about at all aspects.
In all aspects.
Special teams.
Because Harrison Butker is what he made a 57-yarder?
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Mahomes wasn't Patrick Mahomes and did the magical stuff that he did. Like, the kicker could have got it. Like, because it was that balanced of a game. Like, he could have got MVP, bro. Like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is who he is, and he has some pretty great numbers, obviously. But that's what I mean. Like, the way everybody contributed and the way that's what made me question, like, why would you put them in that position? The kicker showed he can kick from anywhere and broke your kicker's record. Hasn't been blocked, made all his extra points. I mean, like I said, like everything about them is just saying they cannot be stopped. And they're getting every opportunity that you have had, you guys have not capitalized on.
Nope, didn't cash in.
You got the kill, or you have just go for it. They asked you in interviews, why did you go for it on this? Because we have Patrick Mahomes we're playing against. He's gonna do what he wants to do, and there's nothing we can do about it. Like at the end of the day.